Yo, what's happening, Raider Nation? It's your boy Soto here. You know what it is, Raiders versus the world. Okay, so we know that there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, and we know there's a lot of stuff that's going wrong. We fired our offensive coordinator who 6 months ago was the toast of the town. Dude is the highest paid coordinator in the NFL, getting paid head coach money, and now he's out of a job. And don't shed a tear for, poor old Chip Kelly. He's still getting paid. But we have to take a look at what are the things that led to it. And the big thing for me, beyond the points scored, okay, I know that that's the thing that Pete Carroll keeps saying, you can't win if you don't score points. And that's true. But I really do think the way Chip Kelly was going about calling the game and his just arrogance in explaining why he didn't do certain things. I'm still fully convinced, 100% convinced, that he was the catalyst behind moving Jackson Powers Johnson from center to guard. Is that going to happen? If he comes back, let's say he comes back to it for the end of the season. I don't recommend it, but let's say he does. I think Greg Olsen puts him in at center. That's just what I think. Also, we take a look at a lot of the mix of run and pass, and, a lot of the running was done late in the game when the game was already out of hand, just to kind of run the clock out. So this is difficult to kind of decipher, but just at a glance, let's take a look at this, okay? I'm going to take a look at the 5 lowest scoring games in the season, plus the Dallas game, because it's sandwiched between the 7-point Denver game and the 10-point Cleveland game. So I'm going to look at 6 games, and 5 of them were the lowest point scoring game of the season, and then also the 16-point game. Because look, that last touchdown late was it was already garbage time, and it didn't matter anyway. All right, first game, the Chargers, 9 points scored. Now, 43 pass attempts, but on top of that, 3 sacks, 5 scrambles. So if you add that all up, 51 pass plays called, 14 run plays called. I'm not going to allow the narrative to be switched because there was 5 scrambles. Those are not running attempts. That was a pass play, okay? So 51 pass plays called, 14 run plays called. Second game of the season, Pete Carroll started it right then and there, okay? Want to have a little better mix? Want to have balance? Well, we have to ease Ashton Jeanty in slowly. Okay, let's ease him in slowly. Let's see what he's got, right? Okay, second game. Well, not the second game, but the lowest scoring game, the next one. The Colts, 6 points, 36 passes, 4 sacks, 3 scrambles. So total, that's 43 pass plays and 22 run plays. Better, but still not optimal, right? That's still 2-1, okay, pass to run. And that's not Pete Carroll. That's not what he does. That's not how he likes to operate his business. All right, next one is that abortion they call the freaking Kansas City game, 0 points. We didn't have a lot of plays. 18 passes, 1 sack, and 3 scrambles total. That's 22 pass plays, 8 run plays. Let that sink in for a second there. The only reason we had over 10 rushing attempts was because there was 3 quarterback scrambles. Chip Kelly wasn't getting the message. And Chip Kelly, like Richie Incognito said, feels like he's the smartest guy in the room, and he's going to always try to prove that he's the smartest guy in the room. So I think, look, in Spanish, Mexicans, we say a huevo, like forcing it, like you're going to be forced to do it. So a huevo, Chip Kelly was going to show you that his way was going to work. And it wasn't. Next game on the docket here, 7 points against Denver, 27 passes, 6 sacks, 3 scrambles. That's 36 passes and 22 runs. That is the closest mix that we've seen. Still not great, but much better than it has been. That's the best one. That's the best ratio, okay? All right, next game against Dallas. Again, they scored 16 points, but they had a late touchdown that was in garbage time, and it didn't mean anything. So against Dallas, 42 passes, 4 sacks, 4 scrambles. That's 50 passes, 8 runs. 50 passes, 8 runs. 50 passes, 8 runs. Now, Pete Carroll can try to double talk and say, well, they weren't all dropbacks. A lot of them was play action. It doesn't matter. You're calling 50 pass plays versus 8 run plays against a defense that was the worst against the run in the NFL. Yeah, they got Quentin Williams, but still, the rest of the team, Quentin Williams is going to make every single play. Holy smokes. I think that game, above all others, really showed Chip Kelly isn't getting it, and Chip Kelly won't get it. Chip Kelly will not do anything different. Okay, the last game against the Cleveland Browns, 10 points, 44 passes, 10 sacks, 3 scrambles for a grand total of 57 passes. 57 pass plays called, 18 runs. I don't know about you guys, but I couldn't believe this shit. When I saw it, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, whoa, what? After all this preaching about balance, after all this, we need to run the ball. After all this, we need to get Ashton to the ball more. After all this, we need to control the clock. After all this, we need to control the game. After all this, we need to control the tempo. After all this, week in and week out, on his last game, Chip Kelly, look, Eugene wasn't the only guy to give the double bird. Okay, Chip Kelly gave Pete Carroll the double bird on the way out. He says, oh, you don't like me calling all these passes? Check this out. 57 passes to 18 runs. Oh, that's rough. In the last two games in the Chip Kelly era, 107 pass plays called, 26 runs. Yeah, man, that's legit. That's real. Okay, that's real business right there. Okay, if you need to look any further, points scored, whatever. I think if we were doing the way running our offense the way Pete Carroll wanted us to run the offense, and we still weren't scoring points, I'd be like, I honestly think he'd be like, look, I'm not happy with us scoring the points, but we're doing everything we can to use our weapons. I don't see it. I think this was I think the point scoring was a convenient thing to say. Yeah, it stunk, but I think the way Chip Kelly was just refusing to budge, to give an inch on the way he called games, and still trying to like rationalize it and excuse it, and it just, I'm glad he's gone. Okay, I don't wish anything bad on him personally. I'm glad he's gone, where he can go do whatever he wants, wherever hell he wants. Go somewhere else. Go back to college, where all that winging the ball. Go to the Big 12. They love throwing the ball in the Big 12. Go to the Big 12 and do that thing over there. All right. So Pete Carroll sat down with that hard-hitting journalist, JT the Brick. Just kidding. And the question that I think everybody wants to ask, and the question that I was really surprised nobody in Media Row asked, was about Geno Smith and the freaking flipping off the Raider fans. I understand maybe flipping off the fans from another team, but flipping off your own fans? Nobody asked about it in Media Row, which I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. They were probably told, don't ask about this or whatever. Whatever. The Raiders don't pay me. If I'm a journalist, the Raiders don't pay me. I would just ask the question, be like, yo, what's going on with this? You can't dictate what I do and what I don't ask. That's ridiculous. And if that's going on, there's bigger problems than just losing games here. Okay, let's hear what kind of BS they have to say. JT the Brick and Pete Carroll.
Let's welcome in head coach Pete Carroll. And coach, want to start off with your decision with Chip Kelly. You made that pretty quick after the game, but what was the timeline leading up to that decision? I know it was a tough one for you.
Well, we've had some struggles. You know, we've been troubled with the inability to score and get a chance to get ahead in the games, you know, and so we've been looking at it, and it just felt like we weren't going in the right direction. And you know, I wanted to make sure that it was representative of the philosophical approach that I've held on to for a long time, and wanted to try to get it balanced out. Fortunately, Greg Olson has been with me before, and his background and the things that he does, we're in sync. And so I thought this could give us a real boost, and you can already feel it around the building that there's an uplift, and we want to get this thing moving.
And he's been with you for a past. He's been here a few times in the organization. What are you going to rely on with him? Because I know how badly he wants to win and get this thing going. What can we count on with his philosophy being aligned with you?
Yeah, I think hopefully you'll see us balance out how we're playing, and that's to utilize the players that have special qualities always. We've been doing that, but more so, and connect it with the run pass thing.
Mm-hmm.
We need to run the ball, and we need to pass the ball off the running game to give us the early down success that can keep this thing moving.
You've talked about how you evaluate practice. I know how seriously you take that. After a 10-sack game and that 66-yard screen pass that went for a touchdown, how much more difficult is practice this week, or more intense coming off those performances?
Well, I don't know that we practice really hard already, and I think we practice probably with as much intent as anybody that practices. So we're going to try to maintain that, and stay with that. But we also have to continue to find out ways to solve our problems. The problem we had last week, we went after their pass rush in a very aggressive manner, and it just didn't work out for us. And we got overwhelmed with some of their rushers. And it wasn't as much, Miles as we had thought. We gave him a lot of attention. It was the rest of their guys that had success, and so we have to call on our guys to find their ways. We got to get the ball out quicker, schematically, and make sure that we're not holding the football and give them a chance.
Snowden made a couple big plays, Chin with the punch out. When you see a couple of players have a couple of those plays that you can throw up on film, how's that going to help everybody in the meeting room, seeing the hustle from Maxx and the guys who are shining at times?
Yeah, well, in particular, an example that you didn't mention there, you would have known as Malcolm Kuntz. Mm-hmm. Malcolm had an excellent week of practice, and there was a point in practice after the Wednesday practice that we showed him highlighted 5 plays of his practice effort, and made a big deal about it, and Malcolm would self-admit that he had decided he'd been too tough on himself, been pressuring himself up, and wanted to cut it loose and get back to just flowing and feeling the game. And sure enough, he comes out early in the game, gets a heck of a sack, and plays a good football game, has some other highlight plays in the game. So we're hoping that guys can find their way through it too, and everybody's got their own individual story that they're dealing with. Malcolm's in particular worked out for him, and we were jacked to be able to highlight him during the week and then show the success, that came from his practice. The fellows you mentioned, Maxx, he had just another phenomenal game, and he would tell you that he got caught up inside on a pressure, and that's how the quarterback flushed out and got the chance to make the big scramble play that changed the game for them. And so we all have stuff to work on, and even our best guys, have stuff they can get better at. Coaches too. So that we take it very seriously.
One more about that game. How is Geno holding up now? You know him better than everybody. Took a lot of hits in that game. He was clearly frustrated after the game. How do you get him back on track? Or is he just always on track with good practice weeks?
No, everybody needs to be worked, and he did. He got pounded in this game, and he missed a couple balls up top that he doesn't miss generally, and he hits them, and he had the effect of the rush was obvious. Mm-hmm. And we went into the game knowing it, and we tried to minimize the overthought there, but he just missed a couple balls that he should have made, and so he wants it in the worst way. He's frustrated. He hears it. He knows what's going on the outside, and he wants to show that he's worthy of better than that. So he'll come back raring to go, but it's a constant process with our guys, particularly the guys that are the highly notable guys that catch all the flack. So we're working really connected with G.
I went back and looked at the last game with the Chargers, 20-9. You held them to 3 in the second half of the game. The problem was you had just 3 field goals in the game. Looking back at that game, a couple of early mistakes here, but you hung in there defensively. How important is that tape for this game in LA?
Well, it's important. It's a long time ago now for them. They've been through a lot since then, as we have as well. We need to find our ways to success. They had a very difficult game last week with Jacksonville after playing some really good ball for a few weeks, and so the league is tough on you. Just when you think you got it going, it gets snatched away, and so we need to play these guys really well. We did learn a lot in the first game. We gave up a big play that made a difference. But you mentioned it. We scored 3 field goals in the game,
Yeah.
and when it's hard to win when you don't score, and so we have to get our points on the board. I would love to see us get ahead so that we could play with the lead, and in which we've had so few opportunities to during the season, and it will call on the defense to play really well. This is the quarterback is great.
Yeah.
Their system is excellent. They're throwing the ball quite a bit right now. They've been banged up a little bit, so they've adjusted some. But at the heart of it, Jimmy and Greg, they're going to run the football, and so we know that about them. We got to get ready for it.
Slater and Alt's been out. You're dealing with Colton, one of the best players in the league that's out. They're kind of in a situation like you with the offensive line. Every week they're under duress, but it's the next man up, and you have to go to the reserves to play well.
Yeah, and they have had running back issues too with injuries, so they've been hit by it, and they're hanging tough. And Jimmy's teams are always going to come back and battle and all that, and we know that about them. But we do have to see where they're going to put their emphasis. Is it going to be back in the running game? Is they have such a good quarterback?
Yeah.
He's so productive that they want to feature him too. And that showed up early in the year when they were healthy and all. So I think that they're playing to their strengths as much as they can, and the way they approach their coaching, they maximize that, and they've been doing it for years.
Herbert's such a good player, but he's been sacked 35 times this year. Do you see that it's because he's holding the ball, wanting to make a play with McConkey it's later, or just what do you see there?
No, it's a combination. It's their injuries and the guys up front that they don't have to play with that they're accustomed to, and it's just hard on the QB. That's a classic way to look at it. Well, he must be doing this because he's the quarterback, but it's the whole system that protects the QB, and it's not just the pass protection. Is how you run the football. It's how you mix your stuff to keep guys from just raring at you. And I know they're working hard to figure that out too.
They have 4 receivers with over 500 yards, so he's spreading the ball out real well.
Very well. Yeah, and McConkey's a heck of a player, and he just continues to do so many crucial things for them. They're very effective using their peeps, and so we got to do a good job on them. It's not going to be any one guy that you have to stop. They don't allow that to happen.
Another team you're playing coming off a bye. We were looking at that with the team here. Schedule comes out, team's off a bye.
Yeah.
You got to play them here and get ready to go. It's just the way the schedule plays out.
Yeah, just the way it's turned out. It's good for them, obviously, because they have been banged up, and they'll get a couple guys back because of the bye, I'm sure. But we have to do our history and do our work on how they come out of byes too, and understand what the changes that will come to us.
The importance of Thanksgiving, as we talk live on radio, and then we watch this on TV later in the week with Thanksgiving in the middle of it. That's really important for this organization. You, your family, your grandkids, everyone involved here. It's been a tough season, but I know you have a lot to be thankful for.
Yeah, we certainly do. And the opportunity to get our family together, we'll all be together. I'm very grateful for that. And I hope our fans and people that listen to you are likewise get a chance to visit and get the home feeling. It's important. Times are tough. People are struggling, and we're not the only program that's struggling, but we need to make the most of it, and spreading the love through your family is one of the great ways to get back on balance.
Good luck in LA, Coach.
Thank you.
Times are tough, and spreading the love through your family. What? So, in his own delicate, tiptoeing, toe the line way, and again, I'm not coming down on JT the Brick for this. He's not a journalist. He's a radio personality and a broadcaster who is employed directly by the Raiders. This is a second public appearance following the widespread release of the gesture that Eugene made to the fans. Nobody asked about it. He talked about, very lightly glanced over, talking about frustration. He was frustrated. What's happening here? Am I blowing this out of proportion? Is this not a big deal? You're flipping off your own fans when you have the worst offense in the league and you have the most turnovers in the NFL as a quarterback, and you're flipping off the fans for letting them know how poorly you're playing? You got beat by a rookie 5th-round pick making his first NFL start, and he's upset. So basically, Geno's like, blame me, put the blame on me. But when you put the blame on him, he can't handle it. I'm telling you, he's not genuine when he says stuff like that. Okay, he's not really serious about put the blame on me. Something doesn't look right, put the blame on me. You know what that tells me? When he's like joking around and making a joke about it, like making light of it. Like, yeah, if your kids are mess up at school, blame it on me, right? If you get a flat tire on the way to work, blame it on me. You know what that's telling me? That's telling me that just blame it on me. I don't care if you blame it on me or not. I'm not really taking responsibility for it. Just blame it on me as a central figure, because I don't care if you do, if you don't. They still pay me the big bucks. This is why they pay you the big bucks, Eugene, to have the lowest scoring offense in the league. They pay you the big bucks, Eugene, to have the lowest scoring offense in the league. Look, some people out there, and some of them are subscribers too, and I appreciate all my subscribers, but they're coming at me with, well, they were saying some really nasty things to him. Whatever. He's not a rookie. He's a vet, okay? And he's getting paid the big bucks to be the man. And he even said, everybody, put it on me. The only difference between Eugene getting yelled at this last game to any other game on the road is that it was at home, and it was his home fans doing it. He hears that plus 10 times worse whenever he plays on the road in the NFL. That's just the way it is. That's just how fans are. I'm not excusing it. I'm not saying it's right. I don't do it myself. But it's not like anything that he's never heard. I think the problem is he's hearing it from his own home fans, and he has nothing to say. Because this whole time he's like, put it on me, put it on me. And we finally put it on him, and he cracks. I'm not letting it go. If they don't do anything, I'm going to be supremely upset, supremely disappointed in this entire franchise. And this rolls all the way up to Mark Davis. Because Mark Davis, if you really do care about Raider Nation the way you say you do, you would not stand for Eugene to be doing this to Raider Nation. I'm telling you that right now. This is beyond play on the field. This is the disrespect that he's showing Raider Nation. Look, he's getting booed at and he's yelled at and all this stuff. Guess what? That's why they pay you the big bucks, Eugene. Anyone who's had a strong mom, they know if you do something wrong and you get caught, she'll walk you over to that house and make you either explain yourself or apologize or both. I don't know what to do, man. I really don't. But I really do think this is just going to get swept under the rug like it's no big deal. And Eugene's going to go laugh to the bank. I'll tell you something right now. For all that people say that he cares so much and he's a good leader and he's a good teammate and all this and all that, he sure is extremely immature. Extremely immature. That nonsense that he pulled early in the season, I liked it because I didn't know how immature he was. But that just showed his immaturity. Him joking about, yeah, blame the kids. You know, the kids are bad at school. Blame it on me. That showed even more immaturity. And this right here, flipping off his own fans for giving it to – I can understand if we were like, 6-6, right? 6-5, 5-6, and we were, maybe in the middle of the pack. Like, hey, what do you want? We're in games here, we're just losing a couple games. We've been blown out multiple times. 5 times this season we've scored 10 or less points, and it should have been a 6. That last touchdown against Dallas was like 2 minutes left or something like that. It was ridiculous. That would have been a 9-point game. And for him to melt down like that, put your head down, take your lumps, and run off the field. That's why you get paid the big bucks, Geno. Your words, not mine. All right, guys, really appreciate you guys watching. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to this video. It's an excellent way to support the channel. It's absolutely free. On top of that, we have the Shield Society. It's a membership. It's $5 a month. You get some freebies. You get some perks. And if you want to do it and can do it, great. I'd love to have you. If not, or you don't want to, that's fine too. I'm still giving you a video every single day. All of that, and all I ask in return is that you tell your friends, tell your haters, tell your mamas haters, your friends' mamas, and your haters' friends. Any combination of the 3. Tell them that Raiders versus the world is the greatest and going to Raider Nation today. All right, guys, that's my time. Till next time, everybody. Peace. Hey, Raider Nation. Thanks for watching. There's plenty more where that came from. Go ahead and smash that like button. Drop a comment. Make sure to subscribe and share to all your socials. It's the bare minimum you can do without doing absolutely nothing.